Hello, I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my discussion about the new moon at 7 degrees of Cancer on June 28th, 2022. This new buck moon cycle that ends July 13th in the full buck moon. We're going to go into lots of details about what this moon might have in store for you. So first of all, the buck moon cycle is called such because Indigenous people noticed that this is a time when the deers get their antlers. Basically, the male deers get their, big antlers, and then that growth is noticeable at this time. And this does have meaning for us energetically as well, because it's a time when things that had been put into motion will have a notable growth spurt. So things you recently did might start to notice, they're pushing forward. This is a time in the cycle where we're a few moons into the cycle that started at the Aries moon, which was, the seed planting, and now we're pushing through. So when we look at the 13 moon cycle, here we're at a point where we start to see noticeable growth, and that is, synonymous with the energy of the new buck moon. Okay, so we're going to drill down into the details here. This new moon at 7 degrees of Cancer on June 28th, 2022, of course, we do tend to start to strongly feel the energies of this moon the days before, and it does carry over into different cycles. We'll see it in the next couple of weeks. We'll see it in the over the course of the next 13 months as well. So there are lots of different layers of things going on that are set into motion at this time. So you notice here I am in the Eastern Daylight Zone. So you have to translate this time to whatever time zone you are in. So 10:52 p.m. on June 28th is the official time of the new moon. We can see in the chart here, of course, that the sun and the moon are together at the same degree. That's what happens when it's a new moon. When it's a full moon, the moon will be over here opposing it. But that's not now. That will be on July 13th at the next point of that cycle. New moons in general are a time to set new intentions and make new moon wishes. Now, one of the wonderful secrets of manifesting with the new moon is that you can make any types of wishes and intentions, but the ones that you make that are in the subject rulership of the sign have more support. So when you make your new moon wishes or intentions, if you make them on the topics of home, family, parenting, real estate, housing, ancestry, childhood psychology, they will have more oomph. So if you want to be a better parent, if you intend to be a better kid, if you wish for your perfect home, wish for your perfect furniture, wish for a mystery to be resolved about your ancestry or important insights about your genetics as far as, your health that come from your ancestry, or trying to seek resolution from a pattern where you notice that your spouse makes you feel the same way as your parents did, and so you're kind of having this childhood psychology pattern or storyline. Anything on these topics are going to have more oomph when made at this time. Now, you can make new moon wishes anywhere near the new moon, but you will have even more power in the 8 hours after the new moon happens. Okay, so remember that we said that's at 10:52 p.m. Eastern time, so translate that into your time zone, and then between that time and that next 8 hours is an extra usable window, and there's an even more powerful usable window, a half an hour before and a half an hour after. Now, this is even specifically for taking action. Your wishes, you get them in this 8-hour window. They're very strong. If you have to make an important decision, take a decisive action, you're starting something new, you're initiating something, and you have certainty about it, that half an hour before and after, so basically that hour that comprises the half an hour before and after, has great energy for initiating something that you want to grow big and strong. Now, even though this is an amazing launch time, that is really just if you have clarity and certainty, because there are some things that are going to be brought up by this moon that might bring uncertainty. And if you're not sure, then it would be better to wait to make your decision, okay? So if you've got clarity, everything's in motion, everything's flowing, then just go ahead and kick your things off. You can use the time frame discussed, or anywhere near this time is still going to have this good energy. If you are not awake at that time and you have to do something important, just know that the energies have orbs of cascade that flow. And if you can't hit it right at the exact time, then you still have good energy in the days around this time. But we are going to have some very major things come up at this time, like I said, that might make you have some indecision. And if you have some indecision, don't be hasty with your trying to use the moon to do something, because you might need some time for you to work out the things that come up at this time. And in which case, just know that from the bigger astrological perspective, from June 19th through August 21st, we've got amazing energies and all kinds of launching pads available for making your big decision. So if you're not quite ready to do it on this day and conflicts are brought up or uncertainties brought up, don't worry. You've got all kinds of other, times that you can use. And I talk about that in my monthly YouTube horoscopes and other resources that I have as far as when those days are. But just know that you don't have to be hasty if you're not sure. So let's look at the layers of this moon. Okay, we've got some pretty major points of tension, a pretty major sweet spot, and something else to consider. So let's just take this piece by piece and then, see how this brews. The first piece is that the sun and moon in Cancer is going to square Jupiter in Aries. This is going to happen at 7 degrees. Okay, so here's the sun and moon in Cancer. We talked about this. Here's Aries, they're making a square. This is a point of conflict, a matrix cracking point, I always like to call it. Now, fortunately, whenever there's a square made with Jupiter, Jupiter is the most benevolent of the outer planets. So if you're going to have a square with any outer planet, this is definitely one that tends to be a softer one, or one that has an easier time for resolution, or that the point of tension could be something good, like maybe you are on a deadline and you're running yourself ragged because you're planning an amazing trip and you're about to leave and you're super stressed because you're trying to get everything done. So that's stressful, right? It's a point of tension, but it's awesome also because the reason why you're rushing around is because you're about to do something amazing. And so maybe you're just a little overextended. So the worst of this part of it could just be you're a little overextended and you're crazy busy at this time, but the rewards are coming soon, okay? Now, something you do have to be careful about, back to this whole thing with a big decision and negotiating, because it does look like many people are going to be having to make a big decision or presented with a decision to be made now or in the near future, and important pieces are coming in. You have to be really careful to not overpromise things. So you might be feeling, Jupiter in Aries gets people feeling rowdy, ambitious, like they can take on the world, and you will have that really great energy for following a lot of things through that you promised at this time. But you do have to be careful of the fact that you might be overpromising, and then you might have some problems delivering what you promised or in the time frame you promised. So just kind of try to scale back whatever you promise, or leave in some flexibility into your arrangements, because this is definitely very key. And guard your health, especially, like I said, if you're running yourself ragged, make sure you take your supplements, or try to get more sleep or whatever, because this is an extender, kind of a spreading yourself thin type of energy. Now, it can also represent a point of conflict that you have with someone, and this is a theme that comes up more strongly with this aspect. Now, if you've followed my work, if you get my newsletter, or if you listen to my monthly horoscopes, then you know that this particular aspect, which is actually on July 1st, and I'll talk about why I'm mentioning it here in a second, This is like a hide under a rock type of aspect. You know, sometimes life just creates a situation where you can't hide under a rock. You have to go out and live. You have to go out and do things. But Mars, the, you know, god of war, Aries is the god of war. I mean, all of this is a very warlike sort of energy. And of course, the square is a very, you know, big point of conflict. And the energies of Mars and Pluto in a square are very different than the energies of the Sun and Jupiter in a square. It doesn't have that benevolence, that softness. You know, it's pretty harsh. Okay, so the Pluto in Capricorn and Mars in Aries square is here. And that square is meaning there's 3 signs apart. Okay, so at this moment, this is at 25 degrees at this time, but July 1st, you know, it will lock into 27 degrees, but you can see, you know, here only 2 degrees away, it's close enough that it will be influencing. And so this is Cap to Aquarius, Aquarius to Pisces, Pisces to Aries. That's 3 signs apart, which is a 90-degree angle, which is that point of conflict, which again, I like to call a matrix breaking aspect, because it can also help you crack out of something that had been limiting you and can have very positive results, but generally there's some sort of point of tension building up to it that you have to work through first. So when we're talking about June 28th, we're only a few days away from July 1st. With this particular aspect of Mars and Pluto, I give at least like a 5 to 6, maybe even more days where you might start feeling, you know, this is 5 to 6 days before and after of this window where these tensions are rising, and you are going to see it. Hopefully you're not going to be involved in it. Maybe you're just witnessing it. Maybe you witness someone fighting, or, you know, people are going bonkers around you. You know, there are possibilities that you might not be involved with the conflict, but you will very likely feel the tension, and you may be involved in the conflict. And the more you've got, you know, placements, especially, you know, in Aries or Capricorn, or really, you know, and I talk about this more to drill down how this particular aspect might affect you personally in the July horoscopes, my July horoscopes. But, you know, the more directly you fit in mathematically with this aspect, the more you're going to feel it personally. So a brawl comes up, a decision will likely have to be made, and it could very much be a deal breaker, okay? If you have to negotiate a contract or make a decision, you might want to wait until this conflict passes before you make your final decision. And that's what I was kind of alluding to before, where you might not want to be hasty in initiating something unless it's super clear and without conflict. You know, there are going to be things that come up where you're like, oh great, I have to make this decision, I have to do this thing, it's super clear, you can use the new moon, you make it, none of this stuff will be involved, or maybe this nice aspect will be blessing it, which we'll get to in a second. But if there's tension at all, if you feel intuitively, Neptune is going to be bringing this very big importance of your intuition, your hunches coming into play here, then you might have to wait until this all blows over. And you might want to also remember that if you are intending to be in a long-term relationship with somebody and the conflict is with them, you might want to be super careful about how you proceed with the aggravation, or, you know, you might feel like someone is being quite audacious with what they're asserting or what they're offering you or how they're acting. You might want to be very careful with how you conduct yourself, because if you do wind up staying in this relationship or moving forward with negotiations, you will know these people, you know, or this entity, this government entity, or this, you know, company or whatever it is for a long time. So you might want to just remember that people might not be acting in their best at this time. So you might want to write a letter to a person that is involved in this conflict and never give it to them. Rip it up just to get out the angst before interacting with them, so that whatever is recorded, whatever is remembered, is you in your best, highest self, okay? You don't want to burn any bridges here, and this is definitely an energy that could burn some bridges if you're not careful. But after this energy passes, it's definitely going to be much smoother, and there are a lot of sweet touch points, like I said, in the rest of July and into August, if you have to negotiate something or come to a decision. You know, but this zone here, like the end of June, the beginning of July, it's going to be covered in this transit, but it is also covered in other sweet aspects. We're only going to talk about this one here, but in the beginning of July, there are also a lot of sweet aspects that will be flavoring this energy. Okay, so we talked about the nasty energies first. And now let's talk about the sweetness. Okay, so Jupiter making that nice angle with Venus, that's 2 signs apart, Aries to Taurus, Taurus to Gemini, that's 2 signs, that's a 60-degree angle, and that is favorable. Okay, so that's the happy connection. Now this could be the resolution. These could be the points of conflicts. This could be the resolution. This could be the breakup and makeup, or the big brawl and the makeup. Venus rules love, relationships, and finance and money and comfort, and lots of other things. And here Venus is in a beautiful aspect with Jupiter, and you see it's at the same degree as this other point of conflict. You've got this sweet energy here. And so Jupiter expands and blesses. So your relationships and your finances could be blessed and expanded. So it could be something like you're spreading yourself thin, working hard, you've got the point of conflict that comes up, you work through it, you get to the resolution, and then you get the blessing. That would be a very common way I'd see a sequence of energy like this manifest. But alternatively, it could be different. It could be that you have a point of conflict, with something, and then you have something sweet that's completely unrelated to the point of conflict. So, these currents of energy, as I like to call them, just kind of imagine, I don't know if you swim in the ocean. I do often swim, in big bodies of water. Sometimes there's a warm current, sometimes there's a cooler current, and these currents are there at the same time. So your foot could be in a cooler current and your arm could be in a warmer current. But those are still affecting you, and you're experiencing them both at the same time, but separately. So you could have a point of conflict with your family, and then you could have a sweet spot with your business, or you could have maybe vice versa, or something. The point of conflict and the sweet aspect could be manifesting in 2 different areas. So kind of like, you're blessed with this great news, and then you still have this annoying client or customer or something, and the 2 aren't related. So those energies are, all kind of happening at the same time and may or may not weave into each other in the same areas of life. But it's very likely that, the energies of work and career are going to come up with the Capricorn, the areas, self, your individual expression, your relationships are likely to come up, trying to expand yourself into bigger places, education, writing, publishing, will come up. Home and family will likely come up, so these are the types of energies that are weaving together. Gemini also rules publishing, writing. Those things are likely to come up very strongly at this time. Travel, relatives, connections with relatives, things like that. Now this aspect of Neptune going retrograde through December 3rd is also going to come into play because when Neptune goes retrograde, we are going to basically go back to, bring us back to some themes that may have started popping up in the time leading up to March 2022, okay? Because the degree that it's going to go retrograde back to, we passed that point at that time. So you'll see some themes that had come up there, and these themes are going to be around intuition, following your hunches, spiritual ideals, creative projects, addictions, or, coming to peace with your warring mind. Your hidden worlds from the fantastical perspective, from the cosmic soup perspective, meaning the place where we're all connected, secrets and behind closed doors, those kind of things are really going to come into play. And you'll be assessing all of these things as you make the decisions about the things that come up with all of this. But this point before Neptune goes retrograde is actually a pretty good point of clarity. Some confusion is going to come in likely from these other conflicts, but you've got a point of clarity before you start to go very deeply inward, through December 3rd with this Neptunian retrograde. So hopefully you'll honor your intuition, because it is going to be very strong at this time, and it could come through synchronicity, it could come through dreams, it could come through, you're trying to figure out if you're supposed to move, and then all of a sudden you look up and there is a moving truck that says time to move, or the symbology of spirit can manifest in many different ways, where you hear very loudly a song, words in a song that come up in a store, and it's the thing you were thinking about at that moment, and the answer is right there in the song. Those kind of things are going to be coming up very strongly at this time as well. Okay, so the last piece that I want to talk about here, and I'm just going to kind of blow through this quickly, so you might have to rewind and go back to catch all of this, because I just want to do a very quick summary. We talked about how the new moon in Cancer can bring all signs, things having to do with home, family, parenting, housing, houses, real estate, ancestry, childhood psychology. That's true for all signs. But the new moon will also bring new beginnings, new opportunities in the houses or fields of experience for each of the signs. Okay, so I'm just going to blow through this really quickly. Aries is going to have this new moon in the house of home and family, so this is double time of those energies. Taurus, you'll also see themes about communication and relatives with this new moon. Gemini, your money sector will be highlighted. Cancer, yourself and health. Of course, this is in your sign, so it's especially powerful for you. Leo, you got your inner world lit up. Virgo, networking, groups, friends. Libra, work and career. Scorpio, travel, education. Sagittarius and Capricorn have their relationship sectors lit up, and Sagittarius also these relationships with money, money entities, shared money, shared resources. Capricorn, very focused on relationships. Aquarius, health and your daily routine, also could be pets and your daily office or other experience. And Pisces, love and romance and kids and fun. Okay, so these are all from the whole house perspective. And I'm going to add just in a little piece from the Placidus perspective. This is a little more complex. If you don't catch it, that's fine, but I'm adding it for those of you who are interested in this. Okay. Aries friends, remember, as I go into this other layer of Placidus manifestation, all of this that I just mentioned here from the whole house, this is all true for everyone listed. But there's some additional nuances to add. Okay, so those of you who are March born, you're having all of this extra. But if you're an April born Aries, you might also kick into some of this communication and relative energy with this new moon. Taurus friends who were born in May might also have some of this money piece come up. Gemini friends who were born in June might have some of the self and health pieces come in from the Placidus perspective. Cancer friends who were born in July, you might also have some of this inner world piece come up. Leo friends who were born in August might have the networking and group and friends piece come in more strongly. Virgo friends who were born in September might have the work and career piece come up from the new moon. Scorpio friends, or actually Libra friends who were born in October, might have the travel and education sector activated from the new moon. Scorpio friends born in November might have the relationship sector highlighted from this new moon. Sagittarius are already having relationships come up, but so just pretty much everyone has double time in relationships. The Capricorn friends who were born in January, you all might have a kick over into this health and daily routine, daily office dynamics, etc. And the Aquarius friends who were born in February might have this love, romance, kids, and fun come up. And the Pisces friends who were born in March are going to have an extra layer of home and family coming in besides these pieces. Okay, so definitely look to my YouTube horoscopes, my monthly horoscopes, for more details about what's going on in this time for you. And I always have them up at least a month, sometimes a couple of months ahead, so that you can check out what is in store and do your planning accordingly. I hope this new moon is amazing for you. Okay, so I've given you lots to work with to help you make the most of the energies this month and to help you understand the energetic patterns at work and play. And if you'd like more resources, I've got all of these here. You can additionally go to the little more button, the little arrow underneath the bottom right of the video. Click on that and all of the links that I'm giving you here will be clickable, right? So if you're looking for reading options, including a beautiful, very detailed 45-minute audio of your birth chart for $33 from my brilliant husband, you can find that at anniebclarity.com. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. This is where you can access running a free birth chart. This is where you access my 28-day in-depth virtual coaching program called Shine for free. This is also where you'll find tons of blogs, and you get lots of other perks for being on my newsletter list. If you're looking for written horoscopes by me, always up a month early, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. If you haven't seen this site, go to it. It is so beautiful. We've got, me and my team have lots of amazing astrology-inspired blogs and healthy living blogs. We've got hypnosis for all the signs. We've got healing frequencies for all the signs. I've got the written horoscopes that I write. We have yoga for all the signs. So it's just a very beautiful, comprehensive site. If you're looking for free courses on how to manifest money and wellness, you can go to lumlife.com, my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, LUMLIFE. You can also find my astrology education courses here, including my behemoth of a master course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, which you can fully utilize even if you don't want to be a professional astrologer, but it certainly will get you up to the level where you could be and show you how to make your business a success. And payment plans are available there too. Now, I've also got 2 books out and more on the way. Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. You will find this on the bookshelves in all major booksellers, including all the Books A Million, all the Barnes & Nobles. It's right there on the shelf. Plus, you can get it on Amazon and through any independent bookseller. And you can find Radical Prayer on Amazon, and you can order it anywhere as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye!